the Grow with Cara show. So good to have you here. Quite a few people still flowing on again. I just don't want them to miss anything. So while we're waiting for them, I want to remind you of the higher impact takeaways from my last interview. If you're new around here, I like to do this in case you missed anything. But if you're a regular, you know that I like to just really reinforce the most impactful pieces from my last interview before we get going. So the interview was with Dawn Smith, who together with her partner is building a nationwide firm focusing on nursing home neglect cases. So first major takeaway from Dawn, number one, niche down. So the narrower your specialty, the more powerful will be your marketing message. So when a nursing home prospect is comparing firms, it's hard for a general injury firm to appear a superior choice to Dawn's. However, direct-to-consumer marketing then becomes more difficult. So it becomes necessary for you to, number two, reach out for referrals. Dawn has been smart to seek cases that are not slam dunks. Those are the ones most likely to be referred, right? Outreach requires persistence, for a relationship as well as competence are key elements when building trust. Number three from Dawn, be transparent with referral partners. That trust can be further enhanced by sharing your approach in addition to communicating your progress on each case. That sharing will especially be impactful if your approach is different than your competition's, right? Maybe your attorneys carry a lighter caseload, or your attorneys do work that others delegate to paralegals, or like Dawn's firm, your automation of processes deliver greater efficiencies. Okay, turning to today's session, it's a good one. My interview is an update with a San Diego employment lawyer who has built a 15-person firm focused on women's rights. Let's begin. Hi, Alreen. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm excited to dive in. So to start, Alreen, tell us a little bit about your story. Why did you launch the firm? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So the firm was launched September 1st, 2008. And I launched the firm because I wanted something different. I wanted a different culture. I came from a very male-dominated firm that set ceilings for me. And I also wanted to really focus on women's rights based on my own past. And so we created the firm September 1st, 2008. We just celebrated our 15-year anniversary last year. And we've really niched down to really focusing on women's rights issues in the workplace and through institutions.
Congratulations on 15
Thank
years.
you.
That's no small feat. How were you bringing in cases early on? Take us back. How, 15 years ago, you were just starting out. How were you generating business then?
So 15 years ago, brand new firm, had no business. Nobody knew, who really I was and the work that I did. And so it was based on other attorneys who did know me, who did know my work, and sending me referrals. And through those referrals, putting it back into the business and just slowly growing that way.
How were you making those relationships, those connections? How were you actually kind of bootstrapping that and making the relationships that actually, were productive and would send you real meaningful cases?
Yeah, so it was really, I knew the people already. So I had already, been working as a lawyer for about 5 years at the firm. And it was with a big firm. So there was a lot of lawyers just in that space already. And so it was connecting with people that have already established themselves, that already had a number of cases, developing a relationship with them and letting people know that, hey, I've gone out on my own. This is the kind of work I do. If you have business you want to send my way, please do. But I think for everybody, there has to be a level of trust. People don't just send you referrals just for, the heck of it. Building the trust and the rapport. And I think seeing the quality of work that I was able to produce, I think develop those relationships where they wanted to send me referrals.
Right. Sure. Well, fast forward to now. Is word of mouth, are referrals still a big part of your business?
For sure. And they're still the best source of business is from other attorneys because they can see a case and spot a case before they send it your way. So that's still a big part of what we do, is developing those relationships, maintaining those relationships, and having really high level quality of work. So people know when they send somebody our way, they know it's also going to be receiving that high quality that they want their referrals to get.
Can you get a little more specific on how you are cultivating, nurturing those relationships on an ongoing basis? What are you doing? What's the team doing to keep top of mind?
Sure. So we've spent a lot of time and money on branding, right? So people know who we are, they know what we do. We also do a lot of events out in the community. So, we sponsor various events, we attend various events as a team. So, same thing, people, remember you, they know who you are, and can see you out in the community. So they remember you, right? It's not that people are trying to forget you, but we're busy and we meet a lot of people. We talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so that's how we stay top of mind, is through our brand, being out in the community. And then a lot of our referrals also come from opposing counsel, which is always, always a compliment. But
Yeah.
I think they see it based on the quality of work that we're putting out. So we're also nurturing relationships through the opposing attorneys by the quality of work that we do and the relationships we have with them during the litigation of the case.
You're part of the community, you're ingrained in the community, you build that trust, and you also have those relationships with other attorneys. Are you sending newsletters? Are you calling on a regular basis? Are you taking lunches? How are you keeping those relationships strong with those other attorneys and professionals?
Yeah, so I guess all of that. I like going out to lunch, and I like going out, for wine, I should say. In the evenings, I do really well one-on-one with people, and I like hearing what they're up to. So I still definitely do that. That's a big part of what I do. Other people are part of organization, like we have like the Inn of Court here. So like my partner Amber is really involved in the Inn of Court to maintain her relationships. Another attorney is a committee member on like a board of the California Employment Lawyers Association. So that's how he stays involved. I mean, I always think everybody should do what interests them, and that's going to want them to attend events, right? Don't just go just to go. Like, how do you get something out of it, and what can you contribute? We also do speaking events. So going out in the community and speaking about, what we're experts on is really important. And I think you had another question is, what else are we doing? Besides attending events, attending lunches, speaking on the various topics, and attending other people's events, right? That they're hosting. Yeah.
Right. Are you sending thank you cards? Are you sending gifts? Is that part of the strategy?
So we always send a thank you card when somebody sends us a referral. So yeah, I mean, you should always thank people for thinking of us. So that's really important. We do newsletters quarterly to let people know what we've been up to for the quarter. We also send gifts to our referral partners as, again, just a thank you. We do that once a year. And to me, it's just important to recognize, like, we appreciate the business and we appreciate them trusting us with their referrals.
Right. I mean, a thank you card, I mean, it seems like common sense, but it can really go a long way, especially when it's thoughtfully written, right? And genuine. I mean, that's the basis of most of our relationships, right? So I think sometimes attorneys don't understand, like, okay, this is actually just like any other friendship or any other relationship, right? It's building that trust, like you say, and giving your fellow attorneys a reason to send you business. They know that they'll be well taken care of, right? They know that the case will be handled in a professional, top quality manner. I think all of that is super important. You mentioned a newsletter. What about anything else for past clients? Are you calling past clients to stay in touch?
I think we could do a better job in that area. Past clients get our newsletters once a quarter, but throughout the case, we are very communicative with our clients. So I think the relationship is really developed, during the pendency of a case, which lasts anywhere from 12 to 18 months. So we get to know them very well during that time. We call them a lot during that time, and all members of the team, not all members, but like there's a paralegal, a legal assistant, the attorney, the partner. All of them are constantly communicating with the client. But yeah, after the case is over, we have like a couple check-ins shortly after, but not long-term. I mean, I think I have probably a handful or so clients that I still stay in touch with regularly.
Sure.
But no, not all of them.
Yeah. More about the status updates, the case updates, the communication during that goes a long way too. That high level of customer service is sometimes not always easy to find. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Stepping back for a second, how big is your team? How many attorneys and support staff?
So we're 7 lawyers and 8 support staff right now. So 15.
Yep. And about what percentage pace is the firm currently growing?
So adding like probably 1 new lawyer a year. So we have one starting in the fall of this year, and then we'll look to the fall of next year.
That seems like a really solid, steady pace, manageable but steady. Would that be accurate?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And just always constantly figuring out efficiencies.
Yeah.
How do we streamline our processes and procedures so that we can maybe handle more, but not give up on the quality of the cases that we do? Because we really pride ourselves on not having high volume cases. We have a very small caseload. It's about 15 cases per attorney, and each case is handled by 2 attorneys. There's always a partner and associate on a case. But in order to take on more, if we can streamline some of our processes along the way, I think that will go a long way. And so definitely we're really big on technology here. We use a lot of technology at the firm, and always investigating like new technologies that are coming out.
Can you give me an example of, a couple of those efficiencies, or maybe something that you've automated that used to be done manually?
Sure. So that our most recent software program is Podium, which we just installed. And before, everybody used their personal personal phones to text message clients, which now, it used to be email. Really it's text messages now. Everybody kind of prefers text, especially younger people really communicate via text. And so we were using our personal cell phones. And so if an associate was texting with a client, she would have to come tell me what the conversation was, or screenshot and save. And Podium allows everybody to see all the text messages. And there's automations through Podium, like when a case is open, they can get a message. When a case is closed, they can get a message. And there's various things you can do that way. So that's our most recent software. The other one we started using, it's called Otter AI, and that is to help us transcribe our notes. Every time I have a client meeting to take on a case, somebody takes notes during that meeting. And so this is a transcription and summarization of intakes that allows us, for the intake person to do some less work putting the notes together of what the meeting was about. We use another software called Lead Docket. Lead Docket just generated an AI software that summarizes every intake call that comes in, which allows me to go through the calls at a faster pace than I was doing before. So those are just a few examples of some software that we used.
That sounds like some major time savers, major efficiencies. Are you using AI in any other way, either in your daily work or in marketing?
Not yet. So we just yesterday got the lowdown with my IT department on Copilot, which is part of the Microsoft suite. It sounds amazing, but that's kind of what we're really looking for, is an secure AI system that we can use for summarizing documents. That would be a huge time saver for us right now, because there's lots of people that review documents, and so if we can get that summarized for us in advance, that would be really helpful. So anyways, that's a long answer to say we haven't completely started using AI in that way, but we are looking at adding and testing out Copilot for at least some of the users for purposes of document summaries. We've looked at some other ones. It's wanting to maintain security and confidentiality of clients' information is paramount. And so just making sure everything goes through our IT department, they have to give the green light.
Yeah. It sounds like you're definitely embracing technology, though. That's really cool to see. Alreen, what are your primary sources of new business? How are you marketing the firm?
So I would say the majority of it is branding, really branding ourselves. So I came out with a book in September, and that just is in line with our brand. We represent women that have been sexually harassed or abused. I wrote a book about my own sexual abuse to let clients know that I understand what they're going through, because I have been a victim myself, but we don't have to remain victims. There's a whole, outside life for us. We don't have to stay in our circumstances. And so we do branding ourselves with all of our video marketing, I would say. Like, again, videos now are what people want. And it's a little challenging for somebody who didn't grow up in that generation. For like myself, I like reading everything. I don't need a picture or a video. But as I see like my daughter, who's 12 or is going to be 12 in a couple of months, she only watches videos. Like right. That's her only scope. Right. And so recognizing that, so we spend a lot of time creating videos so that clients can see, what we do, who we are, and answer some of their most frequently asked questions.
Absolutely. So what are you doing with those videos? I know you're on Instagram. How are those videos kind of actually working for you?
Yeah, so we have them on our website. So when people are investigating like what kind of firm they want to hire or who they should hire, they can see our videos on our website. Because that's the thing, I think all people now, clients, they are researching. So they're researching who you are based on your website. Do you have a social presence? So that's also really important. It used to be, having a website was you needed. Now, if you don't have a social presence, you don't exist. So having a social presence is really important. So we use our videos there. And we do some like professional videos, and we do some just like office made videos. Yeah. And then putting them on TikTok. Now I don't use TikTok. I am not familiar with TikTok, but our marketing person takes our videos and puts them on TikTok for the same reason. It's people want to know that you have a presence on social.
Sure.
Reviews are also really important for clients because they want to know that other people have had an experience with you and they like the experience they had with you. And so making sure that, people, if they have nice things to say about us, that they let other people know about it too. So that's our strategy, I guess. With our video campaign, we're using them in those different ways.
Are you on YouTube as well?
We are on YouTube as well. But from what I've been told is really the way videos really need to be on TikTok.
Yeah. You mentioned marketing or marketing person, at least. How many people internally are dedicated to your marketing?
So we have one internal person who's completely dedicated to social media. That's all she does. She does all the internal videos. And then we have Christy at our office, who's a survivor advocate, but then also helps with making sure our messaging is trauma informed and it's going to the survivor population where they can understand it and it's appropriate. She also helps with conference presentations, speaking proposals, and providing high-level insight on that. So I would say it's full-time 1.5 on marketing efforts. We then have, external marketing assistants as well.
So are you boosting or advertising on social media at all, or is it all organic?
It's all organic.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I don't know. I take that back. I'm not sure if they're boosting our post, yeah. But if they are, it's very minimal. But we don't do any pay-per-click or anything like that.
No. Are you investing in any other marketing, SEO or traditional advertising?
Yeah, SEO for sure. That's part of our website, and that's external. Somebody does that for us, and that is, we get way more calls from the SEO. I guess efforts, but still the best cases still come through referrals and our relationships. So those two are still very important. Yep. And I think the marketing people handle the SEO part, and then it's up to the lawyers to maintain the relationships.
So it sounds like you're working with an SEO agency.
Yes.
On that part of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, we work with Rankings, who I think are incredible.
Yeah. I just interviewed him.
Oh, you did? Oh, Chris Dreyer?
About an hour ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, super, super impressive. Yeah. What about, tell me a little about, do you track leads and do you track kind of leads by source? Tell me a little bit about your tracking.
Yeah, we do a lot of data metrics here at the firm. So we track a lot of data. We track data on our leads. Same thing, like where are they coming from? What attorney are they coming from? Is it through our SEO efforts? Is it through, Google My Business or Yelp or Avo or, where is it coming from? Yeah. And it also allows us to see was that good effort spent? Should we continue doing that or not? So we track all of our leads. Lead Docket is great. That's the software platform we use, and they can run all of those reports for you.
So it sounds like those top lead sources would be SEO, maybe
Yep.
Google My Business with the reviews,
I would
or
say SEO, just Google SEO, so Google searches, and then referrals from attorneys and past clients. I would say
yeah,
those are the two that we focus on the most.
yep, that's smart.
Yeah.
And how does social media tie in there? I mean, are you generating generating leads directly through social media, or is it more of a branding play?
It's a more of a branding play, yeah.
Yeah. And why do you feel like it's worth your time to still be on? Because I get this question a lot from
Yeah.
attorneys, right? Well, I'm not seeing, huge return on my time investment on social media. I'm not seeing these leads, flood my DMs, but I'd like to hear from you. Why is it still worth your time and an important piece?
Yeah, because I go back to one, in order for people to know you exist, you need to have a social platform because they are looking at you. So even though they might not come directly through social media, the person is looking at you and researching you through social media.
Right.
Um, Two, I think that's where we're going. People are getting all of their information from social media. That's just the reality, right or wrong, but that's where they're getting their information. And so you want to be there providing the information. It also allows you to stay top of mind. I mean, sometimes just if your name is they've done a Google search on you, and then they go on social media and they search and you're there. It's just kind of having that repetitive place that they see you is important.
Yeah, and not just a presence, but an active presence, right?
Yes,
It
yes.
almost I tell attorneys it almost looks worse if you have a profile that just hasn't been updated in 2 years, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Consistency is very important.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just like your website, right? If you have an
yeah.
outdated website, like that tells you something about how you're doing. One of our values at the firm is excellence. So that goes in not to our work quality, not only to our work quality, but also is our website excellent? Is the material we're putting on social media, is that excellent? So you just kind of want to be consistent in posting and also a consistency in what the representation you want to make to people of who you are.
Absolutely. I have to say, I look at hundreds of attorney websites, and your site is very impressive. I mean, it's
Thank you.
full of resources. It's value first, and it's also beautiful. So I
Thank
have to,
you.
I have to mention that. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell a lot of strategy went into designing your site for sure.
Thank you.
Uh, Tell us about your start on social media. Were you sort of instantly comfortable in front of the camera with the whole process? Tell us
No,
about that.
I still dislike it.
Yeah,
I still don't care for it.
yeah,
Still makes me uncomfortable. I'm getting a little bit better at it. Before, I would say when we first started with social media, and I don't remember when um, it was what I was telling you not to do, right? It was inconsistent.
yeah.
We didn't really know what to post, so we were just posting random things. And then we hired somebody to handle it for us, but without any direction. We just kind of hired somebody who was like, hey, can you just post about us regularly without any strategy involved? Now we've gotten really intentional about what we're posting. And we've put a lot more effort into it. So not only is it consistent, but it's thought out as to what people would, what they want when they're on social media.
What type of content seems to be performing best for you?
I would say educational content. That was really hard to understand and somebody had to keep telling me that. But we are in this field, and so some things that are so basic to us that I expect everybody to know, they don't know. And so providing that information to people who aren't lawyers, who don't know their rights, has been doing really well. And I think it's really important. We have right now a lot of young girls that we represent who, had just gone into their first job and have been sexually harassed. And, when they come to me and they're like, is that wrong? And it's like, yes. And how do you not know that's wrong? And so it's become really important for us to really educate, I think, the young girls who are entering the workforce about what their rights are, so they know what's appropriate and what's not.
What a powerful platform you have. That's really cool. Really cool.
Thank you.
Is email marketing a part of the strategy? Do you maintain no?
No, we don't do any email marketing. I mean, I just know how I am with email. If something comes in, I delete it. I would say the most we do is a quarterly newsletter. But I just know how people are flooded with emails. And to me, that's not, I don't know. I don't want to spend time on that.
Yeah, and you mentioned leaning toward texting for client communication
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, certainly makes sense. What about a mistake that you've made or something that you would do differently in growing your firm?
I would say putting in a little bit more intentional effort on our social media platform before, thinking through strategy, um, as opposed to doing that more recently. So the strategy on
Mm.
social media has been a fairly recent thing for us, and I think it was a mistake to not start that earlier and not be more intentional in that aspect. And that's primarily because I didn't get it. Like I didn't
Right.
get how it worked, but then I should have gotten some help before, since I didn't understand how it worked and what I should be doing on social media.
Sure, sure. But you slogged through it, right? And
Yeah.
look where you are today.
Yes.
I mean, really, because I try and tell attorneys, like, just do it. Like, you just have to, if you're uncomfortable in front of the camera, or if you're not really sure what to talk about, just start producing some videos and it will become clearer what resonates. And practice will make you, a little bit more comfortable and confident in front of the camera. Even if the first dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen videos aren't very good, that's
Yeah.
okay, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like you had a similar
Yes.
experience. Yeah, yeah. So, Alreen, before we wrap up, I always like to ask if a lawyer watching only has time to adopt one, maybe two of your tips, what would you recommend?
What would I recommend? I mean, I still highly recommend good relationships, good work quality to maintain good relationships. Spend more effort doing that. That's going to come back, I think, tenfold. And not do it because you want something out of them, but really just developing relationships. So one, you know what they do and they know what you do and who you are. So I would say spend time on your relationships. Um, and I think on your brand, who you are, right? Don't try to do everything under the sun. There's lots of great attorneys that specialize in various fields. You don't need to do all of those. What's really your specialty? What really drives you? Um, I think focus on that, because I think that will be much more effective of a strategy than trying to get all the cases.
Focus on relationships, focus on your brand, two very low to no cost items, right? I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
important to remember too. Especially if you're just starting out, you don't have to have this massive marketing and advertising budget, right? It sounds like you very much bootstrapped at the
yeah.
beginning, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent, Alreen. Well, you've been super generous with your time and your knowledge. I really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, so many great things from Arlene today, right? So here are the key takeaways that I see. Number one, community events deliver. Arlene is one of several of my guests who uses community participation to raise her firm's profile. We've heard this from several of my guests in the past. Jason Melton, who I've interviewed twice, both times told me that the marketing channel with the highest ROI at his injury and criminal firm was outdoor events, hands down. Number two from Arlene, takeaway. In your early years as a solo, lean on referrals. So when you have more time than clients, work on building those referral relationships. The cost is minimal, the lead quality is high, and the relationships can deliver for years and years. Other lawyers will be your best source, but allied professionals can be a close second. Number three, maintain those early referral relationships. Too many lawyers neglect their referral sources once their caseloads grow. It is as important to regularly communicate with referral sources as it is with clients. Use your personal notes. You could use certainly thank you cards, annual reflection cards. It is the message in each that counts, but the regular contact certainly also helps keep your relationship strong. Number four, don't forget past clients. The large numbers that quickly accumulate make personal contact difficult, but few firms regularly contact their past clients with check-in phone calls. They land new business with these calls, which is certainly why many of them make them organized and disciplined. And lastly, number five, competence and communication underlie everything. Arlene emphasizes this with keeping caseloads small. 2 attorneys on each 15 cases is one of the lowest ratios I've heard in my interviews. And her firm is using text to communicate with clients, which will have higher and more immediate readership than email. And certainly if you're short of time and want help expanding your referral network, you know my team and I are available to assist. We've scheduled more than 1,000 phone calls and Zoom meetings with lawyers, doctors, and others interested in discussing referral partnerships, and can certainly do the same for you. Contact me if you're interested. I actually just dropped my scheduler link in the chat. Check out the Zoom chat. You will find a direct link to my calendar. I love to chat, see if we might be able to help. I hope my interview today with Arlene has been helpful. My next interview is with a business development coach who teaches offline techniques for generating clients. It's a good one. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep marketing. Take care. Bye-bye.